Dun, dun, dun. What's on TV? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good idea.
MCU sucks, MCU sucks, MCU sucks, MCU sucks, MCU sucks, MCU sucks. Hey, this is Dr. Gonzo. This Indian drum and this Indian stick is more authentic than the actual Echo series.
We don't need no stinking badgers!
Okay, I actually read Echo in the comics, and we're going to go into her character just a wee bit. And I'm going to show you some of the good stuff about Echo, which was minutia, and then we'll go into the bad, and then we'll go into the ugly. Here, let me show you Echo in the comics. And it's interesting to see that Echo, for a while, actually was Ronin. I believe that was in one of the Avenger runs with that Michael Bendis wrote, and she had Dark Phoenix powers just a little bit as well. Interesting thing is, she didn't have a prosthetic leg. She couldn't. She was deaf, but she had a photographic memory. So she could memorize people's moves and look for their weaknesses. And I think in both the Hawkeye series and in the Echo series, it shows her kind of checking out. It really didn't show it in depth. And in the comics, she had this white hand on there. And what that was when her father was killed by Kingpin, his bloody hand touched her face, and she tattooed that imprint on there to honor her father, which they could have did in the Hawkeye and the Echo series, because when her dad, William Lopez, was killed, he had a bloody hand. So why not take advantage of the character? Couple of good things in there. They had some decent actors and actresses in this. And I'm not shaming on Aliquot Cox. I think it's great for disabled people to rise up. I don't think she's a horrible actress. She kind of has one look, and that's being pissed off all the time until toward the end of the series. The big problem that I had was they underutilized the actors. Playing her grandmother, Chula, was Tantu Cardinal. And if you've seen Killers of the Flower Moon, Tantu Cardinal is in that. They also have Graham Greene in it. And I love Graham Greene as an actor. He was in Dances with Wolves. Matter of fact, Tantu was in Dances with Wolves as well. But Graham was in Dances with Wolves. Graham Greene has a great sense of comedic timing. So here's a scene with Graham Greene and Mel Gibson.
Sure. That good? Nah. What's with the drums and the war paint and the horses? What are you doing here?
Oh, we had kind of a lousy year. Not much left to hunt. So when this Russian Archduke, that's where I got the bike, he came along and wanted to see the real West, so I said, okay. He pays well. We get all dressed up in war paint and go whooping around like idiots. He wants me to speak like they say in the books. Oh, wait, man. People are such assholes. Of course, he's got to hear the war drums all the time. It's starting to get on my nerves.
You're not married to him. He'll move on. You'll have the cash. What's eating you?
Brett. What? I don't have the $1,000 I owe you.
Oh, I knew you were going to say.
Look, I'm sorry, Mav.
If if you've never seen Maverick with Jodie Foster and of course Mel Gibson, a great show with Graham Greene in there. Great comedic sense of timing, and he was the only thing that I found interesting in the Echo series beside the short little thing we got on Daredevil. And the only thing I liked about the Daredevil scene was the way he used his baton and his flip up over the chain link fence. That fighting choreography, I can tell you as a martial artist, was some of the worst. And people have made fun of it all over the internet, as they rightly should have, because it's just bad stunt choreography.
I've been watching them all night. And then you guys show up.
Missed it by that much.
Well, one other thing I liked is Kingpin. They didn't have him in the Hawaiian shirt. My kids went to a Comic-Con in Columbus, and they got Vincent D'Onofrio to autograph it in that Hawaiian shirt from Hawkeye. Now, I like the Hawkeye series. I did. And I'll go into a separate video on that. But Vincent D'Onofrio, I thought at the beginning was very fierce. But here's where Marvel really took the liberties at. They used Choctaw people in at the end during the power. That was actual Choctaw people. Now, I studied Indian history in school, in grade school and high school. I took it as an elective in high school. Actually went out and worked at St. John's Indian Reservation, taught them drumming and other things. So got to know the people pretty well. And there are strong males and strong females. But with the Choctaw Nation, the one thing I notice is there's something wrong with this origin story. Of course, they show it's the MCU, so they show nothing but females. And that's not even according to the Choctaw mythology or their history. I compared their history to almost to Romulus and Remus, that discovered Rome in mythology and all that. In Choctaw actual history, there were two brothers, Chata and Chacunsa, who discovered the Choctaw Nation. And in their mythology, there were two other brothers, Tashaka and Wabo, who constantly walked following the sun and the moon. And after that, they met a bunch of women and populated things. They took out the males and made the females the she bosses. So let's go into the characters. Let me explain so you understand the family tree here, because I think a lot of people out in the internet land have got it wrong, and hey, a lot of people don't care about Echo, and hey, that's fine. Maya Lopez's parents, her mom was deaf. So that's why they still signed when like Scully and Chula and William Lopez were around the campfire and they were signing. A lot of people said, why were they signing? Well, Maya's mom was deaf too. They get in a car wreck. There's number one, as everybody's pointed out, safety glass doesn't burst that way. And if you see the shot, I'll show a picture of it. That glass is sticking into her perhaps femur bone. They wouldn't have had to amputate. So I don't get that, but again, it's Disney Marvel. So and then Maya's grandparents are Scully and Chula, and those are the parents of her mom. Those are her mom's parents. There was some question about who her parents were. That's how they set this up. And then they have Bonnie, her cousin, who she was like sisters with, which I thought was sweet. I thought the kid actor who played young Maya, I thought she did a cute job. And then there's this other guy, Biscuits, who's actually a Cree Indian. I didn't even know he had any Indian in him. And he's more of just a beta male, just comic relief, I guess. And if not for him and Graham Greene, the thing would not have been interesting at all. But a couple questions I have going into the episodes is Echo was showed, Maya Lopez was showed wearing shoulder holsters, but she didn't have guns. So I didn't understand that from reading the comics. And a little side note, the comics have risen in price. Any comic with Echo in it right now is going for up over $200 to $300. Well, I'm not going to buy that, but it's interesting to see. So it focuses around her relationship with Kingpin being her godfather or whatever. But the biggest problem I have with the MCU is at first they emasculated Nick Fury in Secret Invasion, which I thought was worse than Echo. Some people disagree with me, but Secret Invasion was awful. Emasculated Nick Fury. And in this, they emasculate Kingpin as well. Maya gains these super healing, feel-good hand thing and heals Kingpin of his bad memories. And the parting shot, which I'll show, sets it up for Daredevil Born Again. And with Kingpin, I think, contemplating a running for mayor.
I want a meeting with all the remaining heads. We need to stabilize this situation before it spirals out of control.
But wouldn't that candidate have emerged by now? That's the question that remains for so many people. Is that candidate even out there?
Describe their ideal candidate. It turns out most voters want somebody who is a fighter. Bare-knuckled brawler would do well in this race. An outsider, somebody who is not afraid to take on the establishment.
Which works against the career politicians. There are legitimate problems in the city right now, and the voters want somebody who understands the pain they're going through.
There's no doubt it is late in the process, but there's still a window of opportunity. That's what the poll is telling us. It could be anybody's race.
I like the fact that they bought back the red suit. I don't see any really hope for Disney Plus or the Marvel MCU because they take good actors, and I don't blame these actors. Jerry Lewis once said something to me. I was with Gary Lewis and the Playboys, and we were in a Jerry Lewis movie, Hardly Working. We were just a band in a barroom scene, and I'll never forget what Jerry Lewis told me. He says, "Don't ever give up a gig." So a lot of these actors they're getting paychecks from this stuff. They don't care what YouTubers think or whatever. They're just out trying to make a living, but at our expense. Interesting thing is, I started asking a lot of questions about Disney Plus and the series of a lot of people because I'm a local DJ, so I get to be in touch with a lot of people as well as when I drum gigs. And I've asked a lot of people about the new Disney Plus series. I said, did you like Loki? Did you like Echo? And a lot of them like it. I don't get it. I asked them, what did you like about it? Oh, I just liked it. So this is Disney Plus, Disney as a company, going out, retraining their audiences, rewriting history, emasculating men, taking away good father figures like they do in What If. A one side note, the lady who plays Bonnie, Devery Jacobs, also voices Kahhori, who is in a What If episode. And that is an episode entirely made up of people speaking in Mohawk and Spaniards speaking in traditional Spanish. So Disney has also, for the first time in Marvel history, created a Marvel character not rooted in the comic books. And this is Kahhori.
Mi nombre es Don Rodrigo Alfonso Gonzalo. He oído vuestras leyendas. Tenéis miedo de esta tierra. Teméis su poder. ¿Dónde está?
Gonzalo, lo hemos encontrado. ¡Corre, corre!
¿Quién osa desafiarme?
No me hallo. Pensamos que nuestra salud depende de vuestra salud.
Vuestra magia no me infunde ningún temor.
Bravo! But their greatest battle has only just begun.
World peace in record time. I've been looking for you for a long time.
Again, folks, there is no hope. There is no hope for Disney Plus. Why do I still have it? I'm a boomer. I watch the old stuff. I don't have enough physical media at this time. So that's my excuse. You have a right to like what you want. This is just my opinion. Echo was a waste of time because the story writing was just so bad. So bad. Oh, one thing they did have correct in the mythos of the Echo series was there was a sapsucker. That's a woodpecker, the bird with the red head. That is in Choctaw and many Indian legends, a messenger. It'll tap out a message on a tree. When they show up, it's usually for a warning for something. So they did get that correct. So that's it for my review. I don't know any other way to articulate it. It was just boring, and they emasculate men.
Hail to the king, baby.